Time's bothering me. It's right in my space.
Give us 5 minutes of time.
You're live,
45
Habibi.
minutes.
Okay, fine.
Yoki.
But now, today not going to be in the frame, don't worry.
What are you checking?
The other side.
My Gemara has the same thing as yours. Check
Yeah, I
the
had to
Gemara.
press
It's also
buttons.
good if you can see which daf is on
All right.
Gemara, and you can see if it's on
Today's
the
daf is daf Tes,
Just listen.
and we're starting from daf Ches on the base by the
It'd also be
Mishnah.
good
We
if
have an
there was,
amazing sugya of Chodesh Ibur. Says the Mishnah, Ein poichasim me'arba chodoshim hamubarim b'shana. Every year must consist of 4 full months of 30 days. Meaning, I don't know what it means yet. It can mean a lot of things. It can mean that you could have 8 months that are chaser. It can mean, but right now we have halacha. In poichasim arba chodoshim hamubarim b'shana. You don't have less than 4 months a year that are full 30 days. We could explain it now. We could explain it in the Gemara. We'll explain it in the Gemara.
Why don't you show the other chart?
V'loi niro yoser what?
The other chart that you had on the share. It's better. With the 365.
Oh no, we're not holding there yet. This is Aleph Beis. That's already Rishonim. V'loi niro yoser al shmoino. So now the Mishnah says 2 things, and the Gemara is going to explain either it's 1 halacha or 2 halachas. Machlok is what's going on here. So we'll get to the Gemara. We'll explain it. V'loi niro yoser al shmoino. Does it mean it doesn't have more than 8 full, or it means it doesn't have more than 8 chaser? Shtei alechem. Again, we're going with the theme. We didn't get into the heavy duty stuff yet. We're just going to go through the Mishnah, and then as soon as we get into the Gemara, we're going to discuss Ibur HaChodesh. We're in the theme that you have things that have a minimum and have a maximum. Ain, what? What chart? This one. That's fine. This is not a big deal. This is not a real chart. Shtei alechem. We're jumping for a second to the 2 breads that we bring on Shavuos. Ein necholim poches mishnayim. When from the day you bake it, because you cannot bake the 2 loaves of bread on Shavuos itself, it's not doicha, Shabbos, and Yontiv, so you have to bake it Erev Yontiv. So at the minimum, you're eating it 2 days from when you baked it. V'lo yoser ashloisho. If Yontiv falls out on Sunday, so now you can't bake it on Shabbos, and so you have to bake it Erev Shabbos, so now you have 3 days. The worst case scenario on Shavuos is that Shavuos falls out on Sunday. Either falls out on Monday or falls out on Sunday. Fall on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's the same thing. If Shavuos falls out on a Monday or a Tuesday, so you bake the bread 1 day before that, you'll bake it on Sunday. So Memela, you ate the bread when it's 2 days old. If Shavuos falls out on Sunday, you can't bake the bread a day before Yontif, because the day before Yontif is Shabbos. So Memela, you bake it Erev Shabbos, you have 3 days. If you're not getting this, Rabbi Isai, we're going to have some issues with Ibur HaChodesh.
But you eat it after, after we.
I don't get it.
After we
Okay.
eat it, not
It's,
before.
it's not 3 days, it's 2 days. It's the third
Okay,
day.
you're eating it on the second
You're
day.
getting 2 days old.
Right.
It's the third day.
Third day.
Not the lechem upon?
Lechem aponim. Now we're holding a lechem aponim. Lechem aponim. You put it on the table on Shabbos. You eat it the following Shabbos. So on every single week here we have a little bit of a This is an old chart. I didn't really have time to fix it up, but this is a very rudimentary chart. Lechem aponim is usually baked on a Friday. Right over here, I didn't do anything. Baked on a Friday, you eat it on a Shabbos. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. I could get to even 11 days if there's Rosh Hashanah before Shabbos. If you add 2 more days of Rosh Hashanah, Friday and Thursday, I must bake the bread on Wednesday for a total of 11 days. 1, 2, 3, 11.
Why is there
Okay?
2 days?
Rosh Hashanah is 2 days.
Even times the Gemara?
Yeah. Rosh Hashanah is 2 days, and it's showing we got 2 days. So Lechem aponim ein nechol pachas mitisha. The minimum you could eat the bread is 9 days from the day you bake. Lo yosel achadasan. Ein kata nimoil pachas mishmoina. Here's bris milah. If you have a baby, if the baby's born on a Friday, the bris is always on a Friday, 8 days later. But if the baby was born on Friday ben hashmoshois, now I don't know if he was born on Friday or on Shabbos. I cannot give him a milah the following Friday because maybe he was born on Shabbos and he's only 7 days old. I can't give him a bris milah on Shabbos because it's a suffix, maybe he was born on Friday and you can't be doich Shabbos for a suffix. So I have to give him a bris milah on Sunday. But what if Sunday is Rosh Hashanah? You got 2 days Rosh Hashanah, and then I do the bris on Monday. So now I have a total of 12. So here is a case where I have to push it off by 12 days, not because it's yellow, but because the Rosh can't do
Monday.
it.
Rosh Hashanah's 2 days. Should be Tuesday.
No. The Rosh Hashanah is on Sunday and Monday.
Well, if it's Monday, Tuesday. So it's on Tuesday.
Rosh Hashanah is. Can I write on Shabbos Sunday?
Sunday or Monday.
Oh, maybe I messed it up. Let's see. He's born here. Friday, Shabbos, Sunday. Oh yeah. Here, who's the extra one? Yeah, you're right. Okay. Mistake. 2 S's over here. Okay, we caught the mistake. Shkoyach. It's on Sunday and Monday. So the bris is on Tuesday. Not like in this chart. Sorry. Never been done before. Never had a mistake. Done at 3 a.m. No. Okay. Fine.
Sorry.
That's okay. Ishkoyach, thanks. I hope that contractor gets your apartment done real quick.
No revenge.
You're paying. We're all joining you.
This could have been worse if we'd done the touching.
I hope I didn't make any mistakes on this next chart. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Apparently today's daf is easy because Menachem Mat is not here. When it's real difficult, he comes like the. Okay. Zog the Gemara. What's going on in the Mishnah? It says you have to have at least 4 full months and not more than 8 months of what? Machloik is here, Rav Huna and Ula. Rav Huna holds, going back to this first chart, shouldn't have more than
4.
No, 8
million.
These guys. You shouldn't have more than 8 30s. You could have 4. The Mishnah says this case. The Mishnah says you have to have at least 4 million, 4 30s. And now Rav Huna is saying another halacha. Halacha number 2 is, by the way, we'll talk about it later, but if you have to have a minimum of 4 million, what does that tell me about chaserim? You can't have any more than 8 chaserim. A year only has 12 months. So if I have 4 of those months that are malay, that gives me maximum of 8 months of chaser. Now Rav Huna is moving on to another case. I can't have more than 8 malay. Nothing to do with chaser. I can't have more than 8 malay, which leaves me with 4 chaser.
No less than 4, no more than 8.
Right. Now, we're going to see a lot more in a second. Ask the Gemara, Maishna Tisha Deloya. There must be a reason here. What's the difference? Why can't I have 9 months of 30 days in a year? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you why. Dimkain Kodim Osi Siara Klasa Yoimei. If so, the Moilad will precede Rosh Hashanah by 3 days. Now, to explain, very partial. This is the whole sugya right here. This line. The sun, the solar year is 365 days and a quarter. Okay? We travel around the sun, takes a whole 365. Actually, I'm going to get to all your questions, my friend.
Who says we travel around the sun? Maybe the sun
All your
travels around
questions
us.
also. The solar year is 365 days. We don't go by the solar year. We go by the lunar year. By the way, the solar year has 12 months. It could also very well have 67 months. The 12 months don't correspond to anything. But our 12 months correspond to something very important. It's the moilad. The moilad is when the moon travels around the earth. It does that once a month. And it takes it exactly 29 and a half days, 44 minutes, and 3.3 seconds. 29 and a half days and 44 minutes. Otherwise known as 29 and a half days and Tafshin Sadik Gimel Chalakim.
793 halakha.
It's 29 days and 12 hours, and Tafshin Sadik Gimel Chalakim, 793 Chalakim. An hour has 1,080 Chalakim, not 60 like we have, because it's divisible by many numbers. It was Tafshin Sadik Gimel Chalakim of that. It's 44 minutes and 3 seconds. That never changes. Rabbi said that never changes. So every 29 and a half days, boom, boom, boom. Now, Rosh Chodesh is always at the same exact time. It always falls out. You don't have Rosh Chodesh starting a half a day later or a half a day earlier. Rosh Chodesh is always on the same time. So if we want to have a normal year, what we need to do really is have a month that's 29 days, followed by a month that's 30 days. Because if you take 2 months that are 29 and a half days, that equals 59 days. 29 and a half plus 29 and a half equals 59, plus 88 minutes, whatever. You have it. But you have, so how do you get to 59 days? 30 plus 29. So if you want to basically keep a very simple head, you do chaser male throughout the year. In fact, we have on the Omar called a Chayrim, and they say that's exactly how you do a year. You never veer off the chaser male. It's always chaser male. But occasionally you have to add a day to a month. And if you add a day to a month, so how many days do we have in a lunar year? 354 days. If you take 29 and a half times 12, that equals 354. Right? 354. So let's think about this for a second. If Rosh Hashanah falls out, the Moilad and Rosh Hashanah fall out exactly the same day, which it should. Rosh Hashanah is Rosh Chodesh. If Rosh Hashanah and the Moilad fell out on a Sunday, the following year Rosh Hashanah should fall out on 4 days later, on a Thursday. Why? Because 354 divided by 7, 350 divided, let's do Bnei Brak math. 350 divided by 7 days of the week equals 50 weeks. Exactly 50, 350. So if we have 354 days, we have 4 extra days of the week. Nothing to do with the Moilad, just days of the week. We have 4 extra days of the week. So if I go perfectly 354 every year, if my year is exactly 354 days, so if Rosh Hashanah fell out on a Sunday, 4 days later is Thursday. Yeah? That's not a problem, right? The only issue is, what if I added a day to the year?
We don't include Sunday.
What?
We don't include Sunday.
You could include it, whatever. Maybe I don't know.
Wednesday.
Fine. Maybe it's Wednesday. Fine. Call it Wednesday. Wednesday. The only problem is, if I add a day to the year, or if I add 2 days to the year, or 3 days to the year, what actually happens if I add a day to the year? That's this chart over here. A very simple chart. I don't know if you could read it because it has a lot of stuff. But from Moilad to Moilad equals 6 months of 30 days, 6 months of 29 days, for a total of 354 days. If instead of this simple calculation, 6 months and 6 months, I change it to 7 months and 5 months. I make one male. 7 times 30 plus 5 times 29. Now I only have 5 months of 29 instead of 6 months of 29 because I added one male. What does that do for my days? It gives me 355 days. Simple. The only little chap here is that every month is 29 and a half days. So if you add a mole, you only add a half a day.
12 hours.
12 hours. But you are also subtracting a month on the other end. You got 7 months and 5 months, not 7 and 6. So memela, you get a full day difference. Yeah? You get a full day difference every time you add a mole. So let's say you add 2 moles. Now you have a total of 8 months that are mole instead of 6. What does that do to my chasers? My chaser went down to 4. So I have 8 times 30 plus 4 times 29. Forget the math. If it confuses you, it doesn't matter. I just added another day and I have 356 instead of 354. If I add 3 moles, worst case, Now I have 357. Now look, Rabbi said, look what happens to Rosh Hashanah. The Moilad always stays constant. It's always 29 and a half days. And 29 and a half days. Times 12 months is always 354. That doesn't change. So the Moilad is at the red line. But if I add 3 days to my year, my Rosh Hashanah comes out 3 days later.
What's the problem?
Rosh Hashanah has nothing to do with Moilad. Rosh Hashanah is
You're
here.
gonna have to do it 25.
Hold on.
That's-
I'm going to get to what the problem is. I'm going to get to everything else.
You're gonna have to
Do
make
we
it
understand? You don't understand this thing. Hold on. Let's so slow.
Yeah, I understand.
Rosh Hashanah, if the year is 354 days, so Rosh Hashanah and the Moilad are going to end up on the same exact spot. But if the year is 357, Rosh Hashanah is pushed off this way. The green, the greens are Rosh Hashanah. Over here, Rosh Hashanah is pushed off 1 day. Over here is pushed off 2 days. Over here is pushed off 3 days. What's the problem, Rabbi Isai? A guy's walking in the street and he sees the moon. The moon pops out. He tells his wife, look, it's the Moilad. Gewaldig. How come we're not in shul blowing shofar? Oh, because Chacham didn't say anything about shofar yet. He waits a day, he waits 2 days, he waits 3 days, all of a sudden announce, Rabbi Isai, come to shul. People are going to say, Chacham are crazy. I saw the moon with my own eyes 3 days ago. How can you tell me that Rosh Hashanah, which is supposed to be on the day the moon comes out, is 3 days later? That's a major problem. 1 day is not a problem. 1 day a person can say, I made a mistake. Chacham know what they're doing, they saw it, they went out of their way to see it, I didn't see it. What about 2 days? Oh, 2 days only works, 2 days meaning I added 2 months to I added 2 months of Malay instead of having 6 months of Malay.
8.
Rabbi said you're going to miss a big nikuda here. This is a big one.
8.
You have 8 months of Malay instead of 6. That's not a problem only in one case. In a case that the previous year was a leap year. Why? If the previous year was a leap year, and I made that leap year, I added 1 month to the year, so now I have, in that month, we're going to have a machlokes in the Gemara, whether a leap year is a 30-day month only, or also a 30-day, but it's also 29 days. Rav Huna says it could be both. So if I say that the leap year is 29 days, very, very simple math, then that counteracts one of my months. I have 1 month that's 30 days, but last year I had 1 month that's 29 days. Rosh Hashanah is going to be earlier now, but now Rosh Hashanah is going to be later. They cancel each other out. So 8 months went down to 7 months, and 7 months we said is okay. Because I'm only off by 1 day. People don't care about 1 day. So again, when can I have 2-day difference? When the previous year was a leap year. And only a leap year of 29 days, because 29 counteracts 30. We're talking about a year that has 8 months of Malay, 8 months of 30. I'm counteracting that by 1 month of Chaser. Chaser equals Malay. They cancel each other out. And Memela Rosh Hashanah at this year is going to be 1 day off, not 2 days. It's not 100% accurate, this math. Rashi says one thing. They all discuss Rashi. We're off by a couple of hours. Rashi meant it's Kemat. Lo mishneh right now. That's the gist of the whole sugya. Yeah? As good as yesterday or not? Ooh. Can't be better. All right. Zok the Gemara.
Tell you at the end.
It's not. I'm going to tell you right now.
Can you ever have Rosh Hashanah before the Moilad?
Yes! Beautiful. So now, what Mr. Kornfeld brings up is exactly what the Gemara is going to discuss. Let's go reverse. What if you do 9 months of Chaser? So now Rosh Hashanah is going to come out 3 days before the Moilad. Same problem. People are going to say, where's the moon? There's no moon. How can I have Rosh Hashanah? All of a sudden, 3 days later, the moon pops up. Oi, the mamish, they don't know math. They don't know how to do calculations, these chachamim. It's going to be a bazaar for chachamim.
It's less of a bizarre than the other way around.
Yes, you're right. It's a little easier to explain, to do away. I didn't see the moon. There's too many clouds. They saw it.
You never see the moon on the first day. Only will the evening see it and then goes
Right.
down. You never see it.
However, if I saw the moon with my own eyes and they didn't see it, that's what Hill is saying. It's a little bit of a more
Maybe
problem.
it was cloudy. Maybe it was cloudy.
Right. Let's see the Gemara inside.
I just saw after the time of Kiddush HaChodesh, Uriah between the best. This only applies when we do Kiddush HaChodesh after we stop
Right.
doing Kiddush HaChodesh through Adin.
Right.
And in the
You mean if we have a calendar?
with the calendar? Because if we do in the Yeria, that's Rosh Hashanah when the Adin turn up in Bezdin.
Yeah.
They're based on the
Okay.
calculation.
I don't know if that's accurate. Fine. It's okay more. Mishnah Tisha Deloy. Why is the Mishnah telling us, according to Rav Huna, Rabbi Schomburg, is this, I was thinking about you when I was learning, is this one of your topics that you delved into? Okay. Mishnah Tisha Deloy. Menachem Matas Falmo went really stark, and then he wrote a whole sefer on Ibar Chodesh, one of these scientist guys. All right, so Tisha, why do we say that you cannot add 9 months of Malay, which would create 3 months of Chaser? Why? Dimkein Kodem Osi Siara. Now it makes a lot of sense. Now we're going to have the Moilad plus a Yoimei 3 days before Rosh Hashanah. It would be nice if the Gemara added a couple words here, but Baruch Hashem, we have Rashi, we have Art Scroll, whatever, it explains. Kodem Osi Siara plus a Yoimei. Plus a Yoimei to what? To who? What are you talking about? Okay, plus a Yoimei to Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, what? You got to be Kabbalah. Shemati b'roiv. Hashtanami, asked the Gemara, what did you gain? Hashtanami kokodem osi treyoyme. Okay, so to add 3 months Malay adds 3 days. To add 2 months Malay adds 2 days. People are going to say, Chachamim don't know what they're doing. They're 2 days off. What did you gain? Says the Gemara, like we're going to have on Amud Beis, he says a pshat. We're going to use this pshat over here. The year, the previous year, they go into, without confusing everybody, Rashi says it's the previous year, it could be this year itself, it just doesn't fit well with the Mishnah. Fine. The previous year was a Shana Muberes, meaning it had 13 months instead of 12 months. So it had 7 months of Chaser versus the 6 months of Malay. The wording here, the simple explanation means I hold, Rav Huna holds, the leap year month could either be 29 or 30. It just happens to be, in my case right now, it's going to be a Chaser. Chaser is going to counteract the extra Malay month that I have. So it gets counteracted, get rid of 1 month. I'm back to 7 months of Malay. 7 months of Malay is okay because I'm only off by 1 day. 1 day people don't realize. People, I jumped the teretz, but the Gemara asks, but you're off by 1 day. They don't care. Now we have a new pshat. So this is a little bit, basically what's going on in the Mishnah, according to Ula, it's one halacha. The beginning and the 2 sentences are one halacha. The sentence is you need to have 4 months of Malay because I can't have chaser. It's not a second halacha down here that we said before. They could have 8 Malays. Lo yoser on shmoina chasers. I can't have more than 8 chaser. Memela, I automatically have to have at least 4 Malays. It's one halacha. What? Purushika mefarish. Memela, what's the difference between Ula and Rav Huna? Ula is saying you can only have Malay. 8 Malays. But 8 chasers are usr. I need at least, I could only have 8 Malays, but I cannot have 8 chasers. Umay time komar.
8 chasers you can have. That's what he's saying. 4 malays, 8 chasers.
Hold on, let's see. My tam. Ein poichasim ma'arbo chadoshim amubor b'shana mishum de lo nir lechachom lechaser yosel shmoin. Right, you can have more than 8, but you can have 8. Maishna tisha deloy. How come the same thing? Why can't I have 9? Dimkein miyatro siarot losiyoyma. That's the other case in reverse. Now, if we have 9 chaser months, so now Rosh Hashanah is going to come out 3 days earlier because I have 3 chasers that removes 3 days. So now 3 days earlier. Hashtanami komiyatro treyoyma. Now that I have 8 months, now I have 2 days earlier Rosh Hashanah.
You saying last year was Mu'abar with a malay? That's how he's going to.
Yeah.
Exactly the opposite.
Exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. Perfect. So we're going to say the exact opposite that we said before. Since we have 8 months that are chaser, I need to counteract one of those 8 months that are chaser with a whole month that's malay. Where do I have that month that's malay? In a shana muberes, a leap year, the year before. Dal yarcha chasira, bahadi yarcha malya. So let me take that 1 month from last year that was a malay, and it's throwing off for shana anyways. Together with 1 month that's chaser today, together I'm at 7 extra months. 7 extra months is okay. Why? I'm off by 1 day. Savri is chazuye is chaze. Chachamim saw the moon. This is a little bit easier, as Hill pointed out. Says the Gemara Michael Mifligi. At the end of the day, Rav Huna says that there are 5 malay, and Ula says there are 8 malay, and Ula says 8 chaser. Be'ibur shana. The sanya kama ibur shana shloishim. This also very cryptic. It says a couple words and it means a lot. Kama ibur shana shloishim. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel oimer chodesh. What?
But it could be 29 also.
According to Rav Huna, it could be both. It could be 30 and 29. So it could go both ways.
That's
It could
like
go
Rav Shimon Gamliel.
what?
Like
Rav
Shimon
Rav Huna holds like Rav Shimon Gamliel that it could go both ways. According to according to Ula, it's only 8 chaser.
Does Chodesh mean Shloshim only, or Chodesh also means 29?
No, according to Rav Shimon Gamliel and Rav Huna, it means both. And according to Ula, not chodesh. It just means it has to be a chaser. So Melu what? Rav Huna basically is saying 2 halachas in the Mishnah. Halacha number 1 is that you have to have a minimum of 4 months that are 30. He also says you can have 8 months that are malay, where Rav Ula says you have to have 4 months that are malay because the most you can have is 8 months that are chaser, but you can't have 8 months that are malay.
So Ula's like Rav Shimon Gamliel.
No. Rav Huna says it can go both ways.
Right. So that's Tanakama. That's Ibur Shana Shloshim. Means also Shloshim. Or
Also,
29.
right.
Or
No, and what does it say? Rav Shimon Gamliel omer chodesh. Chodesh means both ways.
No.
Yeah. Chodesh could go both ways. Also
No.
29 and
No.
also 30.
He says not like that.
No. I'm saying no.
No. Chodesh means you go both ways.
Chodesh means goes both ways.
Chodesh means you go both
What does Ibur
ways.
Shana Shloshim mean? 30?
30 either way.
30 or 29?
Yeah.
30 or 29?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Right?
yeah.
That's Tanakama, exactly.
So what's
No.
Yeah.
No, 30 Chodesh is below.
Kamo ibur shana shloishim.
What Shloshim?
It has to be 30. It has to be 30.
Only 30. Rav
Has to
Shimon
be
Gamliel omer
only 30.
chodesh. Chodesh means it goes both ways. Chodesh means it goes both ways.
Right.
Lafuke shloishim. Okay. Shloishim means only shloishim, and chodesh means shloishim or 29.
What happens today with the other sheni?
Other sheni is always, we said, we just had it the other day, that it's always, in our days, it's always chaser? Who said that? It isn't? I don't know. Always 29. The month before Nisan is always chaser. Okay. Meisvei. Ein atzeres chala elo b'yoyin hanef. Right? So you bring the oimer on the 2nd day of Pesach, then that's when we start counting Sfiras oimer. You wave it. So it says in the Bryce, so they should know, as a rule, that Shavuos always falls out on the same day of the week that the 2nd day of Pesach falls out.
Atbash.
Very good. Adbash,
Gar.
Gar, Dak. What's Dak?
Dak is Wednesday, Yom Revi'i.
Fourth day of Pesach.
Is going to be Kriyas Torah, right?
Simchas Torah. Very good. And what's Hap?
Hap is
Purim.
on the 5th day.
And then what do you have? You also have. No, that's it. No. Hap is soy. No, Hats. Hats is soy Kippur, and then comes Purim.
Then you have Atzmaut.
Right? We have Tzadik Pei. How does that work? Ayin,
Yeah, it does work.
Atzmaut.
Yeah.
Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Yeah.
That's it, you guys start celebrating.
Ein atzeres chala elo b'yom hanev. So I was gonna do a thing, but I didn't have time. So no, to show this Ad Bash, it's very cool. Ad Bash, guys, it's a famous language. The Aleph goes to the Taf, the Beis goes to the Shin. So it means the first day of Pesach refers to Tisha B'Av. The second day of Pesach refers to Shavuos. The third day of Pesach refers to Rosh Hashanah. Fourth day, we said it's Kriyas Torah, so it's fine. I need coffee, you're saying? Or that's for him? Shavuos is going to fall out on the second day of Pesach. So Rosh Hashanah, from here the Gemara is going to ask a question. It says Rosh Hashanah is always going to fall out either on the same day of the week as the second day of Pesach, or on the same day as the first day of Iyar. First day of Iyar. Could it fall out on the second day of Iyar? No. It says it could only fall out on the day of whatever the day of the week of the second day of Pesach is, or whatever the day of the week that Rosh Chodesh Iyar was. It doesn't mention anything about Beis Iyar. You could only go in one direction. You could only do what?
How'd you get to Iyar?
Oiri Bura means Aleph Iyar. That's what it means. Yeah, the way you ma'aber Pesach, the Oiri Bura, you ma'aber Msari Nisan. It's just a way of saying Aleph Iyar. Why not confuse you if we can't? We did enough over here. This Siyar Atlasa. Okay, so throw in another thing just in case you didn't look at Rashi. According to Ula, you only go one way. You can only do 8 chaser. Mu'ubar lo yavdino, but you don't do mu'ubar. Mishkachas lo shneihem chaserim b'yom hanef. You have 2 months that are you're going to take off if you want to do chaser. You're going to take off 2 months. One is Kislev, one is Sivan. So you're going to, in addition to your regular 6 months that you take off a day, we're going to add 2 more months. One you're going to throw in the winter, one in the summer. Don't get into the details really if you just want to understand simple pshat, because I don't really know the details. But if you take 2 months off, another 2 months, one of them is going to be in the summer. So Memela, that's close to Pesach. Shneim chaserim b'yom hanef. Echad malei v'echad chaser l'ari bura. So then you're going to fall out if you do that. If you do 2 extra months, you have 8 months. So it could fall out on the second day of Pesach. Let's say the second day of Pesach was Wednesday. So Shavuos is going to fall out on a Wednesday. That's it. I add 2 months to your regular year. I do 8 chaser. Fine. Now, how do I get to the first day of Iyar? If I do echad malei echad chaser, I alternate between malei chaser. Fine, it falls out great. Ela Rav Huna the Omar Avdinon Mubarin. But according to Rav Huna, I could also do 8 months that are malei. Now I'm throwing off the whole thing. Now maybe it could fall out on a Thursday. How come you didn't tell me that it could fall out on a Thursday? 2 days later, Beziyar. How do you understand that according to Ula? Because according to Ula, I could also do extra months. I can't do 8, but I can do 7. And that will also throw it off by a day if that extra month I put it in the summer, Malay in the summer, closer to Pesach. Everybody agrees. There is no machlokes in the world. Here, there's 2 things that are constant. Everybody agrees you can do 7 months Malay or Chaser, and everybody agrees that you can't do 9 months Malay or Chaser. We have a shaila in 8 months, in terms of Malay Chaser and with Ibor, only with the Yav Ibor. Hashiva Avdina.
Ellie, isn't that something to do with the moon, the rotation of the moon? Oh, not the rotation.
Oh, you weren't here at the beginning of this year.
248, right?
354.
354.
Right.
354,
You
yeah.
have 9 days different between the sun and the
Yeah. Okay, that was a whole shtickle.
11 days difference.
Shiva Avdinon. Shiva Zivna Delay Avdinon Besisva Vavdina Bekaito. Sometimes you take that extra month, that extra day, and you throw it into the summer. Even according to Ula, I have a situation where Shavuos could fall out the same day of the week as the second day in Nir. Ella, therefore I must say, it's a third shita. The Sanya Cherim Oimrim Ein Ben Atzeres LaAtzeres Vein Ben Rosh Hashanah LaRosh Hashanah El Arba Yom Bilvad. According to Acherim, every year is exactly 354. You never have a case where a year is 355, unless it's an Iber yard, it's a leap year. Then I add 1 day. But according to Acherim, it's always one Chaser month, one Malay month, one Chaser, one Malay. That's what we said in the beginning of the year. If you do 29 days and 30 days, that equals 59. And if you do that throughout the year, you're going to get to 354 days, exactly 12 months, 354 days. So Rosh Hashanah is always going to fall out on Moilad, which is always 4 days later in the week.
Don't the hours add up eventually? The extra hours? And
That's the Gemara's Kasha next. Yes, that's the Gemara's Kasha next. But let's just understand this. So again, going back to the simple cheshbon, if you do 350 divided by 7 equals 50 weeks, but we have 354 days, not 350, so it's 50 weeks and 4 days. So Rosh Hashanah is going to fall out on the Moilad, but the Moilad is going to be, instead of on a Sunday, it's going to be on a Wednesday.
4 days later.
4 days later. That's what the Gemara says. Acherim always hold a Rosh Hashanah no matter what. Every single year of every calendar year, if you know when Rosh Hashanah was last year, you just add 4 days to the week this year, and that's when Rosh Hashanah is, because according to Acherim, the calendar never wavers. It's always a Malay Chaser, Malay Chaser, Malay Chaser.
Doesn't Rosh Hashanah always have to be the Moilad?
No, that's what we learned. Doesn't.
Because it's Rosh Chodesh.
And that one's there.
It doesn't have to be. It could be off by 1 day and nobody will know the difference. That's what we learned before.
The day before. The year before.
Ein ben atzeres la'atzeres uvein ben Rosh Hashanah Rosh Hashanah el arba'yom milvad. Okay, so the same thing would happen to Shavuos. If Shavuos falls out on a Sunday, so then it'll come out next year on Thursday. 5. V'im hoisa shana muberes chamisha. Now, if you have an extra month, just if you want to do the math real quickly, now if you have an extra month, you have 383 days divided by 7 equals 54 weeks and 5 days. So Mamelo, you have an extra day. That's how you get to the extra day. Okay, not because you added a month, but because you divide it like that, it's divisible by 7, and the extra days, that throws off the week. Ask the Gemara, according to Acherim, how do we, since every year it's always the same exact days, how do we ever get to the Yom HaNev, to that Shavuos should fall out on the same day as the second day of Pesach? Omar Rav Misharishio Kigoin Shahoisa Shona Muberes. It was a leap year. V'ibur Shona Shloishim Yoim. Now there's a leap year of 30 days. Dal Yarcha Lebahadi Yarcha. You take 1 month and you counteract the other month. Mishkachas Lo the Yoim Hanev. Then it can come out to the Yom Hanev. Omar Rav Adar Bar Hava L'Rava. I don't want to explain this because I'm not sure I understand it. Why do Acherim, for us it would be a nice chiddush that Rosh Hashanah always comes out 4 days later, but the Gemara says if every year is exactly the same and you can do Malay Chaser, so Rosh Hashanah always falls out in the same exact, always on Moilad, never like Yaakov wanted to say, always Rosh Hashanah always falls out on the Moilad, not a day before, not a day after. And then I know by myself that if a year has 354 days, the Rosh Hashanah is always going to be 4 days later, the next year. He does say chiddush. I would think that the only time I do a Malay Chaser is if I have witnesses. But if I don't have witnesses, make a taste to change a month like that and mess everything up. Ask the Gemara, and this is Noah's question. At the end of the day, when I add every month is 29 and a half days, 44 minutes and 3.3 seconds. So what do I do with those extra 44 minutes? Eventually they add up. How much do they add up to? 8 hours plus every single year. 44 times 12 is 8 hours. After 3 years, you have a full day. So now, you actually do have 5 days sometimes. You actually do have Yom HaNev. You have the second day of Iyar.
Every 3 days, 3 years.
And there's also an extra day, Rabbi say they have to add every 30 years. That is, because you have 876 chalakim that are uncounted for. 876 chalakim times 12 months times 30 years equals a day. And guess what? There's actually fractions of a second that Mendy came up with a cheshbon yesterday together with Yedidia, that every 2,000 years you have to add a day. Because we're off by a couple of seconds, and those seconds actually add up every 2,000 years to one day. So if that's true, it's a very interesting thing. But obviously we haven't gotten there yet because from the time of the calendar it hasn't been 2,000 years yet. And maybe Mashiach Be'ez Hashem will come before that. What?
In the Goyish calendar as well, when they calculate leap years, every 100 years they have to.
Really? Every 100 years. So our 30 years is not such a big thing.
Except if it's divisible by 4.
Says the Gemara, Rav Shmuel Sovalok Rav Huna. Rav Shmuel says Mefurish that you could add 2 months to the year, have a total of 8 months of Malay, and have a total of 8 months Chaser. How do I see them? Shmuel. Ein Shnas Levona Pchusa Me Shin Nun Beis. Basically, a year cannot be less than 354 days. What?
52.
Sorry. A regular year is 354. Says Shmuel, it could also be 352, 2 days less. V'lo yisera al shinun vav, and not more than 356. I can add 2, how? Okay, it's that. Shnei Meleim, if I add 2 extra months, Shisha, I get to 356. It's a very, I guess they did it on purpose, this Gemara. It's just like very cryptic. Shisha. 356 means Shisha. Shnei v'chaserim shnayim. 352. Echad malay, echad chaser. If you have a perfect year, 1 chaser, 1 malay, it always ends up to arba, 354. What do you see Mefurish? Shmuel says Mefurish, I could have 8 months of malay. Not like Ula. I could have 8 months of chaser. Everybody agrees that I can have 8 months of chaser. I said I could even have 8 months of malay. Meisvei hareini nozik moisachama. If a person says, he doesn't say how many days, I want a lunar year of Nazirus. How many days is it? 354. Why? Wait, a lunar year sometimes 356 you just said according to Shmuel. So how come a person says, I'm going to be another for a lunar year, you only give him 354. What happened to 356? You go with what most people say in most years. When a person says lunar year, he doesn't start doing cheshbonos, he means 354. You ask anybody, what's a solar year? 365. What's a lunar year? 354. There's some years I add some months. Okay, those years are different. I'm talking about listening to the Ne'odah. What do people mean? 354. And Rebbe also agrees to Rav Huna that what? That I could add 2 extra months in a year, make it 8 months of Malay Desanya. Ma'asav also Rebbe, very strange story. Rebbe made a 9 months out of the year chaserim. What happens if you make 9 months chaser in a year? You're going to be 3 days off on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is going to be 3 days before the Moileh, before the moon comes out. However, this year, V'nira Chodesh B'zmano. Okay, everybody discusses how's he allowed to do it. We just learned you're not allowed to do it. They answer he had to do it because he was forced, according to what his son told him in a second. Wait a minute. Everybody knows if you make 3 extra months, you do 9 months of chaser, you're going to be early, not on time. Of Rabbi Shimon Bar Rebbe, his son Rabbi Shimon says, Shema, maybe you completely forgot the most obvious thing in the world, that last year, Shana Muberes, not only was last year a leap year, V'ibur Shana Shloishim, and you made a leap year month of 30, not 29. So now I already have 1 month to counteract one of my chaser months. And Vishtaka Dosinu Shnei Maleim. And I did 2 extra months. I did 8 months last year of Malay, 30. That counteracts the 3 months of chaser. I have 3 months of Malay in Tafshin Ayin Ches, and 3 months of
2 Tafshin Ches.
No, 2 months plus the Ibur is 3.
Right.
And 3 months in our year, and they counteract each other. Everything's beautiful. And Memela came out on the day. Down plus about it plus take 3 to counteract the 3. Oh my Lord, Yisrael came. You're right. I completely forgot about this. These terrets and Memela. No.
Wow.